Good morning and welcome. Welcome to live stream from KwaZulu-Natal here in the Sibaya Casino and Entertainment World. We are on day 3 of the Superslam 60k buy-in. And we have a new feature table for you today. Only 2 tables left in the tournament. We'll be giving you some feed on the secondary table later in the day. We will introduce your players to you as we go around. I'm sure our regular viewers need no introduction to the people at the table. We're starting off the day with blinds at 8 and 16, and 16 in the big blind ante. This is hand number 1. Greg Ronaldson is under the gun. Greg in seat 3 with the blue and white hoops. And he will be first to act. Mr. Neil Singh in the background there, looking after our players, making sure they've got a table, they've got water, etc., etc. Lenny's busy cleaning his sunglasses there, ready for the day. And introducing your dealer to you, it's Mr. Delphi, one of our regular dealers. Nice to see you on the feature table, young sir. And we're off and running, the cards are in the air. Let's look forward to a fantastic day of good poker, and may the best man win. Greg looks down at 8-7 off, under the gun. We're not going to be too interested early doors playing those. Then he gets rid of his 8 queen, jack 3, 8-4, no early prizes. Kenny looks down at, oh, we don't know what Kenny looked down at. Was with Queen 8, Queen 9 on the button. Looks like he's going to have a little steal here. Raised to 35,000. David Rosenthal 9-2, and the small blind will get out of the way. Mr. Huawei's son wakes up with a hand here, 2 red 10s, and I expect to see a re-raise from Mr. Sun here. He knows that Waz will be pulling a move, and I fancy a bet of around 65 to 75,000 from Mr. Sun. You're going to send a clear message to Waz. So 86,000 the bet. Waz will think a little bit more. And I'm pretty sure we're going to see a fold here. And suggested Wells gets rid of his cards. Not going to do any stealing with those. Nicely played, Mr. Sun. And he picks up our first pot of the day. There's your chip counts. Kenny and Mr. Sun top the table with the 7-figure stacks. Rogers is our short stack with 19 big blinds, not yet in the danger zone. And what I mean by that is down to 10 big blinds. So he will be looking to make a move at some stage, but he's got time to pick a spot. Lenny under the gun here with ace queen, looking to come out firing, I'm sure. 50k the bet, I'm sure. 35. Fold, 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 fold. David folds his button. Sun looks down. Doesn't like the look of that. And I think Greg will maybe come along and defend the big blind here. Possibly a re-raise, let's see. Lenny coming out firing from under the gun is a very strong move, so possibly just a flat here and see if he can go set mining. So good news for both players in a way. I expect to see Greg bet out here. $35 the bet. And Lenny's got 2 overs here, so maybe a flat. And we're going to see a turn. Got no real hope for either player, other than a gut shot for Greg. And he's 88% to win the hand. Greg checks, interesting. Lenny checks back, gets a free card on the river. Another 7. So 2 pair for Greg, got a lock on the hand. I'd like to see Greg value this. He doesn't put Lenny on any 7s, that's for sure. Greg does bet. Looks the size about 15,000. That's a call me bet. And then he calls it off. He's hoping his ace high was good, but obviously not. Nice hand, well played, Greg. And there is your other table. Jules Levine without the hat today. Jared Sullivan, Alvin Pillay. Sean Governor, Rakesh Singh, Rudolph Furi, and Abdelessa, and with his back to us, of course, Edgar Adz and Tanzana. Who's who of poker? Fantastic. We've got a great day of poker to look forward to. Looks like Abdul's filling up on the carbs, early doors.
Small blind, 8, big blind, 16. There we go. 16.
Aston with the ace queen this time. Moz is thinking about this, and I think he's elected for the flat, I'm not sure.
77.
Oh, it's a raise. Up to 77. So he's asking Aston the question. Aston's a very astute player. This is interesting. Lenny was sevens in the big blind. We noticed yesterday Lenny folded sevens, I think, or fives, and he folded tens in an interesting position. And that'll be ringing in his ears because people were actually asking him why he did that. I think that's just a call. That'll price Aston in for sure. I'm pretty sure you'll see Aston call as well. I don't know that he's got squeezing cards, but I certainly think he's got calling cards. Oh wow. Aston folds. I thought he might have called there. So we got the hijack versus the big blind. 214 in the pot. Aston's going to be kicking himself now. Pocket tens ahead. Lenny checks across to Mars. Mars is not going to check back. Oh, he is. He obviously thinks Lenny might be trapping with the ace. Aston's definitely not a happy bunny now. I have to fold the ace. And Lenny needs a 7, or obviously he's got a flush draw here, so he needs any of the other clubs remaining in the deck. Question is, does Waz bet out here? Waz is less likely to put him on an ace now. There's 2 on the board, and he'll probably think his tens are good. So I expect a bet from Waz. In fact, Lenny bet, and my apologies, Lenny had bet there and Waz called. River card is the king. 4 clubs on board. Lenny's good with his 7. It'd be interesting to see what happens now. And that looks very value-y at 60,000. Waz hasn't got any clubs, and this would be a hero call from him. Of course, Waz can go back at Lenny, but what is he repping in terms of clubs? A queen high club, so queen 10, something like that. What was he raising with pre-flop? Pocket queens. And he'll try and use his reputation here if he does go back heavy. And he bets 177, and then he folds the better hand.
Small blind, big blind, 8, 16.
When Lenny watches that back on the stream, he'll be disappointed that he fell for the re-raise from Waz. But you know, you've got to admire the play from Waz there. Very nice play. Secondary table in picture at the moment.
Big blind, 16.
On our feature table, that's our first look at Rogers. He's in the under the gun position. And it'll be Kenny in seat number 8 to act first. We don't know what Kenny's cards were, unfortunately. Was for 7-4. Sorry, Was picks up 7-4. Was incidentally up to the Millionaires Club now, so he's in the 7 figures.
35,000.
And he bets. David is working up with pocket queens here. We're just looking down at his queens. Standard for David, he'll put a chip on his lowest denomination chip on top of his cards. He'll take his time to think about it. He knows there's been a raise from Was, and certainly going to be re-raising here with the queens. The raise is up to 82,000. Fold, fold, fold. And it's going to come back round to Was with his 7-4. Was will take a little bit of time. I don't like a call even Was, I like a fold. Caught with your hand in the cookie jar.
This one is a bit small for me. My head is smaller than yours.
Oh, Was is going to have a float here, that's interesting. So interesting hand developing here, and flop comes 2-8-5, 2 clubs, which is what Moz was looking for when he called with the 7-4. Moz obviously on a big flush draw here. David's still ahead with the pocket queens. David has bet 106,000 here into a pot of around about 200,000. So it's a 50% the size of the pot. It's asking Was the question, and you know, Was is now going through the process. Am I getting a good price here for my flush draw? Also, you've got to remember there's a lot of history between the two of these players. They know each other very, very well. And you know, Was wouldn't be adverse to re-raising here. So Was raises up to 167. And David to call, and here comes the ship. And Was will get rid of this, I think. Oh, he calls, he calls. There's the flush draw. And the backdoor straight draw. No sixes or clubs is what he says. And the flush gets there. And we lose Daisy of Rosenthal from the table. Unlucky David. So here we go to the next hand on the feature table. Kenny Morgan under the gun, so he'll be first to act.
There we go.
We've been live for about 20 minutes, so our stream will be coming online in about 10 minutes with the delay. That is obviously for the integrity of the game.
16,000.
Kenny under the gun. Dealer just asked Kenny to put his cards on the box, please.
35,000. 35,000.
Greg will probably... Oh, Greg doesn't want to look him up here. Lenny's not going to get too fruity with the Queen 4. Aston's got King 9 suited in the small blind.